Early spring. Wolverine and Crane wintered in the city. Panther remained near the forest, looking after Wolverine's manor house, some 15 miles away from their refuge. The three rarely exchanged news, like birds that do not sing in winter but only greet each other from time to time with the expressive pain, pain, pain. Therefore, when, near the end of February, Wolverine saw an envelope addressed to him in a spindly scrawl, he said only, "Spring must be early this year. Larks are surely singing if Panther writes." They opened the letter and read it eagerly, looking over each other's shoulders, their eyes shining with joy. "Forest greetings to Chief and friend. I report that yesterday our friend Stomper woke up. He had gone to sleep so fat that he barely fit into your boot. But yesterday he emerged so thin that the boot shank fanned about him like a broad foyer. He promptly clambered into my lap, pricked me, and snorted, 'Food!' He then swallowed a mountain of cheese and a river of milk, swelled up hugely, and is now running about the house, terrorizing the mice. Thus, spring must be near. But Jake does not agree. Last October, on top of the ceramic stove, Jake made himself a nest out of several rags, my winter gloves, your cook's bonnet, and several branches of oleander. When the whole thing reached up to the ceiling, he crawled in it, closed it behind him, and went to sleep. He, too, woke up yesterday. The sleep had served him well. His fur is silver, shiny, his tail bushy like an ostrich feather, and his ear tufts are very rakish. He crawled out, stretched, drank some water, ate a few nuts, and went out to investigate. He did not investigate long. He returned angry, his tail wet, his paws dirty, and he spat out the buds he had picked, making it clear that they were bitter, 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 and that it was way too early, and time to sleep some more, and that better times were surely still a long way away. He announced as much from the top of the stove and crawled into his house. And that's all we saw of him. Blue Tit, who had also wintered indoors, hunting moths and moth eggs, also insisted on being let out. Well and good, I opened the window and out she went, like to a wedding with a swing. She now peels worms off the maple tree by the window and chirps at me, "It's time, it's time!" And whom is one to believe? Because the larks, you know, are back too. And how? I went to say hello to them, far out in the field. In depressions, snow still lies and ice holds, but the glades are bare and blackened by molehills. The wind is like mint. It seems cold, yet it burns. And lark song is in full possession of our fields, and will stay so till winter. And now for the news about the travelers. The first gray lags came to rest overnight last Friday and raised a great hubbub. I went to hear what news they had brought from overseas. The night was clear and echoing with silence, still frosty. The edges of the ponds covered themselves with ice and stayed that way till noon. Every night, crowds of traveling birds fall onto our black orchard. They fall, say hardly a word, and are off again at dawn. These will not spend the summer with us. These regiments have a destination farther north. I have 3 pairs of partridges in the attic. I found them in traps set up by boys in the winter, and they ask me every morning how many more days of imprisonment are left of their sentence. Sparrows are about it too, betrothals in full swing, like at a church fair. They all swear that spring is just around the corner. But bees are like Jake. I knocked on some of the hives and asked, "Queen Mother, is it spring?" But they grunted sleepily, "Psst, psst, Mother is asleep." Whom to believe, then? And how to remain patient? It's not spring, yet. And yet, it is no more the witch winter. It's not the summer's army, but it is its vanguard, announcing, "Time to get ready." So, the more impatient are doing just that. The flowers of the carmine hazel are still covered by husks against the cold, but she has already let out her catkins to the wind. Kingcups have been swelling at the bottom of icy waters, and anemones are slinking about under the leaves on the ground. Everything is ready. And when you put your ear to the ground, you can hear that something is afoot, something a person cannot understand. Is it the earth and its music? Or is it one's own heart? It's all one thing. They all cry, life, life, life. I'll wait a tad longer, and when everything cries out like this, I will call you, saying, "It is time." Meanwhile, I make clogs, fiddle with the canoe, and fix all pots and baskets. And I wait, trembling with excitement. Such was the letter. Wolverine looked it over once more. "The earthworms haven't stirred," he said. "The witch will be back." They both sighed. A longing twisted a knife in their hearts. Crane said, "I felt the color, the smell, the taste, the music. How it hurts to wait. Let's sneak out beyond the city limits. Listen and see. Let's drink the wind." "Let's," replied Wolverine, "for we still have yet long to wait. Until the solstice is another 7 weeks.